Hey boys and girls, guess what day it is? It's Thursday, time for another episode of Storytime with me, King of Clubs. So, today we're going to talk about dating fails. That's right, dating fails. I'm sure you guys have had a few. I know I've had a lot. God, I'm going to be doing this video, embarrassing myself even further for your viewing pleasure, or listening pleasure in this case, because, I don't do a whole lot of video for this. I just put up some images to go along with what I'm saying. But yeah, we're going to talk about dating fails because I've had more than my fair share, and not just during the course of dating someone, but also in the process of trying to get a date. And that's what this is going to be about. It's going to be a series of short stories involving turndowns and mishaps, and just less than favorable ideas when it comes to dating. Let's start off with some of the turndowns I've had to deal with. I get turned down quite a bit. I mean, I know what you're thinking. This guy gets turned down a lot. That's amazing. Not really. I get turned down a lot. I've used dating websites. I don't really go to clubs. Ironically enough, with my name being King of Clubs, I don't go out partying that much. I'm kind of a more laid back person. I prefer. Let's screw it. I'm shy when it comes to being in person. I don't. I'm not very outgoing in person. So yeah, I use the internet. Use my best resource, the internet, and I use dating sites. And you really have to be careful because there are some fake people out there. There's also some really weird people out there. One of the cases that has happened to me, and this has actually happened in person once, years ago, many years ago actually, back when I was shortly between, I think it was between, yeah, it was after I left college, but before I had moved from my hometown to the next town over, which is a much larger city. Anyway, so I actually wasn't on websites yet. I was still talking with a lot of people I'd known from high school and friends of friends and whatnot, and I had met this girl, and I liked her quite a bit, and we'd hung out a fair amount. I thought she was cool to date. So I asked her one day, and I was like, hey, how about we go out sometime? Thinking, what's the worst she's going to say? She's going to say no. That's the worst that could happen. I had my positive thinking going. I wish I wasn't so positive, because her response was looking at me and going, ew. And my actual response to her was, a no would have been fine. We didn't talk after that, and I actually don't even remember who it was. I know we're pretty sure we don't talk anymore. But yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't nice. Fast forward several years later to actually something that happened a few months ago, I think. Depending on time frame of this actually going up. On dating websites. Start my conversation. I'm not one of those outlandish people who's like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? I don't put on this huge facade or huge act to make myself sound really good or sound really cool or anything. I'm just a regular laid back person. And so when I start a conversation with someone, it's usually something basic like, hi there, how are you? Hey, I see you also like this. And I try to start a normal conversation. I don't try to be outlandish over the top. I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. So yeah, I go with the basic hi, how are you to this girl, and admittedly she's a little bit younger than I am. Not like anything illegal or anything weird. I'm 28 and I think she was 22, so about 6-year difference. Not terrible. I've seen people with larger age gaps than that. Anyway, so I messaged this girl the basic hi, how are you introduction to the conversation. And her response, much like the girl I'd mentioned before, was ew. Didn't make me feel good. Really didn't. And I could have been a jerk. There's so many ways I could have handled it. But no, I took the high road. I said, that's okay. I hope you find what you're looking for. Have a nice day. To which she replied with LOL. I'm just like, okay, you're trying to piss me off now. And I just left the conversation as it was. Didn't say anything more. Moved on. It's funny because I told a friend of mine about it, and their response was that I should have said. What I should have said was that that she was my backup plan, my option B. She wasn't even the first person on my list of people to contact, which actually was kind of true. I wasn't gonna be a dick about it. I could have been a dick. I could have been just a complete asshole, but I didn't. I thought it was funny the ideas that I was getting. But yeah, that was some of the those couple of turn downs I got. Ironically enough, very similar in those two stories. Another thing that happened turn down wise was the time. Actually, it was shortly before that last one, the being having someone say "you" to me. Uh, Another one off of a dating website. This girl I messaged, again, basic, hello, how are you? How's it going? And typically, especially with the dating websites, if I get turned down by a girl, or she says she's not interested, whatever she says, I'll let it go. I'll just say, okay, good luck to you, and move on. But if they don't say anything, then if they don't say anything after the first message, I'll let it go. Maybe they didn't have time to read it, or maybe they're just not interested, so they didn't bother replying. I typically won't pressure women into, pestering women into whatever. So with that being the case, I went to this girl's page and I messaged her, and she was like 23. She was she was a little bit younger than me, again, 5 years younger than me. And I guess for her that was too much because her response was message people your own age. And I thought, okay, 5 years isn't that bad. I know people that are 10 years apart that are perfectly fine. But I guess 5 years was too much for her. So I said, sorry to have bothered you. Have a nice day. Good luck in your search. Again, taking my high road, trying to be a good person, and letting it go. I've also been turned down completely. I've also been told that I'm, either too old or too young for someone, but they've been more polite about it. Like I had one girl who was actually a couple years older than me, like 5 years older than me, and she politely said, I'm sorry, but you're too young for you're too young for me. You're not what I'm looking for. She was polite about it, and I appreciate that. Now on to some of the other stuff that's happened dating-wise. This actually, I'm going to start referring to some of the things that's happened while dating. One of the things that happened many years ago, actually, in my first relationship, was the time that I elbowed my first girlfriend in the face. Completely accidental. I'm not like Chris Brown over here beating the crap out of women. Don't take that the wrong way. What happened was I was in this Mustang that I used to drive, the one that you've seen in previous Storytime episodes. I was getting something out of the center console, and I didn't realize that my girlfriend at the time was right there. I obviously knew she was in the passenger seat, but I didn't know that her head was kind of hovering over where I was at, and the center console didn't want to open at first. It was kind of stuck. So when I finally got it to pop open, her face was right over my elbow, and I popped her in the face. And I felt horrible. Surprisingly enough, she didn't get a black eye or didn't break anything or any bruises that I remember. But I just felt, I was mortified because I'm like, oh my god, I am going to seem abusive. And thankfully nothing else came from that, but I felt so terrible. And that's funny because that leads into my final story for this segment. Something that happened that was intentional. That was an accident. I felt bad because I accidentally, hurt a girl I was dating. Then there's something, and this kind of tells me, one of the reasons why I can tell if a relationship's not going to work is I did something not physically to hurt someone, but I did something to annoy a girl I was dating on purpose. Not to try to get her to break up with me or anything, just because I felt like being an asshole. This one girl I was dating, we were playing the game Just Dance for the Wii. And this was actually, the game had been out for a while. In fact, I think they were getting ready to release the third Just Dance game. I think. Maybe it was the second one they were getting ready to release. But the first one had been out for a while, and I was playing it. We were actually over at this girl's mom and stepdad's house, playing it with them and her stepsister and I think some other people too. I'm not much of a dancer, at least not around groups. It's just not really my thing. I'm clumsy. I'm not really good at dancing. If you guys ever see me dance, it'll be probably very spontaneous and probably really ridiculous and very poor. So what happened was we were playing the game, and my girlfriend at the time was pestering me, begging me to come play this game. And I'm just like, I really don't want to. I'm not much of a dancer. I'm really not into it. And so she kept begging me. What she didn't realize is that while she was playing the game, I was taking note of what all songs were available and dances were available, because I knew for a fact that at some point she was going to ask me to do it. I knew it was inevitable. I knew her habits. I knew her way of thinking. I noticed in this game there's a song that she particularly does not like, and that's a song called Surfing Bird. Most of you will probably recognize it as the song The Bird is the Word. Anyone who's seen Family Guy knows exactly what I'm referring to. And she hates that song with a passion, I think largely due to Family Guy. But she finds it so damn annoying. And so she finally kept pestering me, asking me to play it. I go, okay, I'll play it under one condition. She goes, okay, what's that? And I go, I get to pick the song. She goes, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's great. Not thinking that I'm going to do this, I get up there and I go, okay, so you and me are going to play, and we're going to play the song Surfing Bird. She got mad, and she's like, I hate it. She's like, I hate that song. I look at her and I go, I know. I actually leaned in and go, I know. That's why I picked it. Just to be an asshole. Just me being a complete dick. That's how you know your relationship's probably not going to work, is when you maliciously do shit like that to someone that you're supposed to be in a relationship with. But yeah, so that happened. Those are some of my dating fails. I know I've done more, I just can't remember a whole lot, because admittedly my memory isn't that great. I have a memory for some of these weird stories, weird instances like the ones I've mentioned before, but there are other ones that I just don't retain that well. Which, I mean, I guess that's normal. People just forget stuff. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Hit subscribe for more videos I've done. And stay tuned for future episodes of Storytime. I'll be having more coming out soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice day.